Country Forum.
Rim Country Forum today being brought to you by ITD Group Computer Services, Suites by Kim Ross, Off-Road Trash Company, George Henry Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, Little Stinker Septic Service, and the fine folks at Banner Payson Medical Center. Well, it's 4 minutes past 9 o'clock, 47 degrees. It's Friday, and you know what that means. Yep, with opinions about everything they know and even a little bit more, it's the Hometown Movie Guys. And I'm your host, Randy Roberson, with Lips on Loan from God. Glad to have you here this morning on a Friday morning Movie Guys, Hometown Movie Guys presentation on Rim Country Forum. How y'all doing this morning?
Well, we're good, except for the barometric pressure is making me achy.
Ah, so now you're not only grumpy, but you're achy.
Yeah, you got it.
This seems to be an escalating thing.
There's that's a twofer. I'm going to aim for a threefer next week.
Oh, well, can hardly wait. Now, Craig's not with us this morning. Apparently, maybe I don't know, the popcorn machine needed maintenance work or something this morning, but we're going to get by without him. We've got a lot of movies to tell you about. First of all, what was the most recent review that you wrote, Andy?
In Tuesday's paper,
Right.
in the hometown newspaper here
Right.
in Payson, Arizona, I had my review of How to Train Your Dragon, and on page 2, Tuesday's paper. So take a look.
And that's still, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, still playing at the Sawmill Theaters.
Yes, it is.
And did you like it, or how many saw blades did you throw this time?
I give it a 3 saw blades. 2.5 saw blades would be dead average.
Right.
So this little
Slightly above dead.
slightly above average.
Right.
I thought it was an entertaining movie for little kids.
Mhm.
I didn't think that it had much for grown-ups.
Right.
There's a movie out recently with the Lego movie.
Right.
The latest Lego movie, and it was just chock full of little asides and jokes and references
So keep the adults laughing along.
for the adults. Yeah, and there's nothing like that in How to Train Your Dragon.
But if your kids are looking for a good movie to go see, it might be just the perfect thing for them, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's a very beige, a good message in there. The main character looks like he's about 14, but he's the leader of a tough bunch of Vikings, and he's got missing a leg. Has an artificial leg, so
Arg.
even handicapped guys could be great Viking leaders, I guess, is the message for that.
Is his name Sven, or?
I don't remember, but something like that.
That's the part of the world where all my ancestors come from. I got to get over there one of these days. So How to Train
You
Your
gotta,
Dragon?
you gotta go.
I'd like to. Why don't you buy the tickets? I'll go.
Well, we go together. It'd be fun.
Sure, you buy the tickets. We'll go.
Okay.
All right. Just let me know when you want to go.
Okay.
Hey, that How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
Let's have to sell a few more movie reviews.
There you go. That plays at 1, 4, 7, and all shows are in 2D, but it looks like it'd be a whole bunch of fun to go watch.
Oh, and yeah, I did see it in 3D.
Was that right?
And yeah, the 3D evolution, the new technology that they're using for 3D is, it keeps getting better and better and better. There were actually a couple of times when sitting in the seat, you had a sense that somebody was coming from behind you.
Wow.
And that was.
So they must be working it into the audio track as well.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it, but boy, I mean, it kind of startles you. So whoosh, whoa, where'd that come from? You know,
Very cool.
It's fun.
Well, the movie this week that's playing in 3D just starts today.
Oh, and one more thing.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Yeah, when the theme music came up, and they played the theme music all through the very long list of credits.
Mm-hmm.
These modern animated movies, there are, geez, I don't know, 1,000 or so maybe animators who, and they all get their name in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a long time for the movie credits to go up, and all the time that was going on, 2 little girls, about 3.5 maybe, danced.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't think they knew each other. I think they just happened to.
That apparently during the credit roll, they were playing their happy song or something?
Yeah, and
Oh.
they twirled and they whirled and they danced
that's
and
nice.
just all around the whole theater there. And they obviously really like the movie, so you know, I have to give them some credit. So if you wanna take some little girls to the movies, that's gonna make them happy, take them to see How to Train Your Dragon.
Gotta love it. Well, as we mentioned, all of those performances now are being done in 2D because the 3D movie this week is one that just starts today, and it's Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes when Earth is caught in the middle of a gigantic war between two alien races. Plays at 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15, and that 4:15 viewing is in 3D. You know, I've heard mixed reviews on this. Anybody here have an opinion yet, or have you seen it?
Haven't seen it yet.
I think one of the lines that Mike was reading out of the newspaper this morning, I think it was out of the Repulsive, was that I mean the Republic was
The repugnant.
that too was that it was all style and no substance.
Yeah, who cares?
I was just looking at
That's
her,
Andy.
looking at this gal in that outfit. There's a lot of style there.
Yeah, there you
I'm
are.
not used to the idea of Captain Marvel being a female, but I'm kind of, it's growing on me.
Well, she's a Brie Larson, is that her name?
Yes.
She
Where do-
has
where do we know her
unfortunately
from?
we know her from what is making me cranky this morning. She's come out with some statement that she doesn't want white men to go see the movie. So Andy, you're
Huh?
great. You're being a rebel by going to see her. Well,
She
no,
doesn't want
you're
white
not
men
white.
to-
You're kind of
what?
beige.
Well,
You know?
why in the world would I let some empty-headed actress dictate what movies I go to?
Well, there is that. Yes,
Question,
I
yeah.
know. But what makes
Well,
me think about?
wait, stop a second. What would make her? What would motivate her to say that white men shouldn't go see this movie?
Because if brains were dynamite, she couldn't blow her nose.
Oh, one of those.
And she's, now here's just my thought, my random thought.
But you are kind of cranky, so keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I go back to the days of the great studios. And when I was in film school in the 60s, of course, I thought the studios were tyrannical, and they were.
Slave shops.
Yeah, slave shops. And, you know, they had people under contract, and the contract stated that they had to behave in public a certain way, and they couldn't.
Unless you worked for Alfred Hitchcock, then you had to.
Well,
You had to perform in other ways.
I did. I'm not sure about that, but
Well,
let me.
I am personal
Yeah.
friends with Tippi Hedren. I've got the story straight from
Oh,
her. But
Lord
anyway,
mercy,
we'll talk
okay.
about that later.
Okay, so the studios controlled the public emanations of these stars.
Mhm.
And I've come around to believing that that was a good thing. Somebody needs to rein in these people, because she probably, I'm sure she looks absolutely stellar, drop dead gorgeous.
Let's hope so.
In her Marvel suit, and you're going to be marveling at her today. But, you know, she needs to just shut up. Oh, I'm sorry, can I say that?
Sure.
She needs to shut up. There's a blank in there, you fill it in. All right? She is.
It's a dramatic pause. I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, why would the star of a movie come out and say she doesn't want white men to see the movie?
Why would the star of a movie say that I mean, heck,
Oh.
buy an extra seat, bring your dog. I mean, as long as you're,
Yeah.
paying for the seat, right?
Well, and you know, here I am, a movie guy,
Right.
so obviously I can't go. Right. But I
Weird.
mean, this is, you know, let's get back to entertainment. Let's get back to movies being wonderful movies without this backstory from these brain dead movie actors, stars,
And
things.
while we're ranting here, I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I go to a movie to be entertained, and
No.
when it comes to caring about somebody's opinion about politics or anything else, one of the last people that I want to talk to or hear from is someone who acts like someone else for a living. I mean,
Let's play just pretend.
yeah, it's like, and so why would I give a darn, what they're, and it seems like more and more and more.
Well, she thinks you do, though,
Yeah, well,
you see, and that's the problem.
wake up and smell the Java woman.
Yeah, really.
All right, so on a little
Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Andy's going to prostitute himself to the fame and fortune of this. Well, I know it's a big money maker, and you know, and yada, yada, yada.
I think Andy will get over any turmoil as soon as the
I
movie
know,
starts.
he can do that because he's wearing the cat pizza shirt.
That's right. Hey, you know, on a lighter note, one of the other movies that's starting today, I'm kind of curious to find out more about. It's the movie entitled Stan and Ollie. It's about Laurel and Hardy. Laurel and Hardy, the world's most famous comedy duo, attempt to reignite their film careers as they embark on what becomes their swan song, a grueling theater tour of post-war Britain. Plays at 1, 4, and 7. Have we heard at all whether this is supposed to be anywhere close to being based on even loosely a true story, or is this just somebody thought, hey, people like them before, let's make up another story about them and do it again? I mean, anyone know?
Nope.
In a
I
word?
know
No.
nothing.
Yeah, all right.
Yes, but I think I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah.
Because Andy's gonna see Captain Marvel, and I really can't do that, so I'll go see that.
Well, I'm looking at a pretty small picture of Laurel and Hardy in this, but it looks like they found two people that look an awful lot like Laurel and Hardy to play
That's
the
good.
part. So that's good. Now, another movie that's playing. I'm sorry.
John C. Reilly is in this one.
He's wonderful.
Very, very well-known, kind of a character actor, second-level actor. He's not a star, but he's a very, very familiar face. And he played in a movie called Kong Skull Island a couple of years ago. And guess who else was in Kong Skull Island?
Oh,
Bry Larson, who plays Captain Marvel.
is it Bry or
Ah.
Brie? Is it cheese or not? Sorry.
A Limburger joke in there somewhere.
Anyway, I want some Brie with my wine.
But before we go down that road, we're going to take a fast break and be back with more on Rim Country Forum right after this.
George Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling wants to remind you that customer service is important to us.
So do you have
Serving Americans for over 50
production
years, we're
cost
licensed,
numbers and
bonded,
things like that and
insured,
stuff?
have fully loaded vans, our own showroom.
And I got some
Regulations,
biopics in
completed
case we want a
background checks,
subject.
wear
I got
uniforms,
my
and drive
Okay.
vehicles with our logo. Call
Okay.
us at
Like Pat-
928-474-5037
Yes.
or stop by our
Yankee
showroom
Doodle
at
Dandy,
204 South Beeline
The
Highway.
Schindler's
Conqueror.
Heating and cooling.
Right, Patton.
Our computer issues taking time
imitation
away
game.
from your
I mean,
business,
I
your
got
family,
the list.
your life,
We
and
can
the
talk about those.
ITD Group. They'll fix
Alright.
any technology
Ray.
issue, big or small,
Right.
for an affordable price. Services
Ray.
include repairing
Ray.
viruses and
Ray, what
malware,
was that about?
repairing laptop
Ray.
screens,
Ray Charles.
fixing
Oh,
networking
that movie,
issues,
yes.
I
saw
repairing
that one.
software and hardware
Biggest
and much
libraries
more.
around.
They can even pick up and drop off your laptop, fix it on location, or assist you remotely. Contact Sam today at 623-680-1775 or samandtheitdgroup.com.
Plus, we
You'll
also
find his
have
ad and a
the,
link to his website on our
classic
website,
movie for next month.
KMOGcountry.com.
What is that?
It is gonna be North by Northwest.
At your
Moving
service,
back to
Heating and
the
Tree Service is back in the room
And
country
have I
and
told you
offering
about
more than ever
the Tiffany Headroom
before. We
before?
offer residential and
You really,
commercial
truly?
heating of
Yes.
houses and
I've spent time in our
buildings from
homes.
top to bottom.
And
yes,
it's weird walking around the house because her
there's no
daughter
doubt
is
to
Melanie
be
Griffith.
We offer
And when
treatments
and
such
at that
as
time
tree
she was
trimming,
married to
elevating,
Antonio
improving.
Banderas.
We
And
remove
Right.
hazard
the family
trees
pictures
and
all over the
use
wall
your
were all
professional
these
not-
like,
detail. We are licensed,
I
bonded,
don't know
and
if they
insured,
are
and
still
we
married
offer
or not.
free estimates and discounted rates for
but
seniors
yeah,
and veterans. We are friendly, dependable, and
nothing else,
affordable.
if
We
we
are
get
at your
bored,
service.
we can talk
Give us
about
a call
that.
at 928
Pretty interesting lady.
970-2084.
Yeah,
Welcome back to
she,
Room Country Forum. 17 minutes now past 9 o'clock, 47 degrees, looking for a high of 48, so something tells me we're going to hit that today. This morning on Rim Country Forum, as we do on Fridays, talking with the movie guys. Craig's not with us, but Tina and Andy are, and letting you know a little bit about the movies playing at the Sawmill Theaters. Of course, you can always go online to find out what's playing and when it's playing by just going to sawmilltheaters.com. But Andy, you always keep track of the numbers. With this new Captain Marvel thing, which the best looking Captain Marvel I've seen in a while, what kind of money...
Shazam!
Yeah, hallelujah. Anyway, what kind of money did they spend on this?
152 million, which, you know, that's
Medium?
that's a lot. That's a lot. You know, a lot of money, but it's not anything close to the top of what some of these big blockbuster movies have spent.
Right.
And they will do very well. This is going to be a very popular movie. People have been, like me, have been anticipating it for months now, and I think it'll be solidly profitable. It's kind of an odd sort of a deal too. The writer-director team are, I'm not sure if they're boyfriend and girlfriend, but I think they are. Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. relatively unknown. They're young by the standards of people who typically get to ramrod a $152 million movie. They're relatively young, relatively unknown, relatively inexperienced, but they're solidly trained. They're solid professional Hollywood people.
Have there been other Captain Marvel movies before?
Not that I recall.
And
I
but
mean,
in Marvel comics and stuff, wasn't Captain Marvel a male in those?
Yeah, yeah. They just.
Oh, come on. Who cares about gender?
Well,
They just.
I think that
I'm a movie guy,
this,
come on.
this is a nice change in my opinion.
Well, she looks great in her costume from the photos, but we'll see how she goes. But so interesting in a lot of ways. But they did spend a huge amount of money, and it's a Marvel product from Marvel Comics,
Right.
and all of their stuff has been tremendously successful.
What about
They did a movie last year that made $2 billion.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it's just staggering.
There's a lot of zeros there.
Yeah, and they really know how to put out a product that people, not just in this country, but people all over the world can appreciate.
What about this Stan and Ollie, this movie about Laurel and Hardy? What kind of money did they spend on producing this?
Not much. This movie is brand new to us here in Payson, but it's already profitable.
Really?
Yeah, they spent $10 million to make it, and they've already taken in $20 million.
There you go.
And that's the rule of thumb I have is when you pay your ticket at the box office, the theater gets half of it, and the movie producers get half of it. So for a $10 million movie to break even, it's got to hit $20 million, which these guys have.
And that's so. This had an earlier release. In just larger markets or something? Or?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Interesting.
And these guys, I don't know if you've ever seen any Laurel and Hardy movies.
Oh yeah, from way back in the day, I remember those.
Yeah.
I mean, not when they were new or anything, but.
Yeah. My
In case there was any
friend,
speculation.
my friend Stan the Train Man Garner, who's
Right.
a movie business guy that lives right here in Payson. I was over at his house one time, and he showed a kind of a short movie with these guys where they're on a train. And I mean, it is just, you can't help yourself. You're just laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. He liked it because they were on a train.
Well, but the thing too, and we've talked about this many times, but writers back then seemed to be much more gifted because nowadays it seems like when it comes to humor and stuff like that, people just they bail out to blue humor or bathroom humor or
Sure.
whatever, and back then you had to keep everything clean. But I mean, still, when you watch some of that stuff today, it's still funny. And why we can't come up with more people that have that kind of writing gift still intrigues me. So again, not a whole lot of money spent on Stan and Ollie. The other movie that we need to talk about is this escape room. 6 strangers find themselves in a maze of deadly mystery rooms and must use their wits to survive. Plays at 1:30, 4:30, and 7:30. What do we know about this one?
Nothing.
Okay, in a word.
Yeah, ditto.
Okay. But if you go to the Sawmill Theaters,
You can find out really fast.
and what about the other? Now this other one has been out for a couple weeks now. I think Cold Pursuit. A snowplow
Yeah.
driver seeks revenge against the drug dealers he thinks killed his son, based on the 2014 Norwegian film In Order of Disappearance. It's rated R, plays at 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. Do we know anything about this one?
We do. We
Yeah.
saw it.
Yep.
And what'd you think?
It had some interesting things in it.
Really satisfying stuff. I love when the tree went through the roof. The car roof. I love that part. That was like, boom! It's also in the trailer, so if you want to see the whole thing. And there's some equally good stuff. Liam Neeson, seriously, he's good. He's really good.
Yeah,
You know?
he's almost as old as I am, and he's
No, nobody's that old.
running around
Except I'm older.
beating up bad guys, and he does it very convincingly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still portray an action hero. And in this, you were talking a minute ago about clever writing,
Mm-hmm.
and they created a character in this movie, the wife of like a 3rd level character So that would make her a fourth level character. No reason at all to put her in the movie at all. And she's just delightful. She's this guy's mail order wife, and she's just a little mean person.
She steals the show.
Yeah,
She really does. I mean,
yeah.
every time
Everything
the
she's
scene
on
was
screen.
there where I knew they were gonna focus on her, I couldn't wait to look up at her in the window. She's this little nasty Vietnamese or something. She sounded Vietnamese. But oh my God, so she is amazing. Yeah, and
Now-
who is she? I didn't even know who she is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do I remember hearing you all say last week that they've actually woven a little bit of humor into this one though too?
Yeah.
As opposed to some of the other movies that he's been in, Liam Neeson's been in the past, which didn't have a lot of humor, but this one's...
mail order wife, she was just such a comic relief in that she had this unremitting nastiness. It was, and just this imperiousness of,
Yeah.
you will do what I tell you. And I mean, that's the wrong accent, but
So
she
it's
was
a
just.
German Vietnamese.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But she was fabulous.
Mhm.
And, when she stalks off with her pink suitcase, that was so funny, right through the snow.
Interesting. So you can see Cold Pursuit again at 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. It is rated R, so probably not one for the kids.
Yeah, and this is one where the producers have completely screwed up. We mentioned the Stan and Ollie movie that they made for $10 million. Well, they spent $60 million making Cold Pursuit,
Whoa.
and it has yet to become profitable. In fact, it hasn't even become halfway profitable yet. So I don't know what they were thinking. Sometimes they get carried away with their spending,
Right.
and I think in this one they did. Shame on them.
Wow. And wow, that's been 2 weeks now that it's been out, or 3?
Yeah, at least 2 weeks. Didn't we see it last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Another one that's playing still is Happy Death Day 2. To you, anyway. Let's see here. Tree Gelbman discovers that dying over and over was surprisingly easier than the dangers that lie ahead. Oh boy. It's rated PG-13, plays at 1:30, 4:30, and 7:30. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. Where are we putting our thumbs
Yeah,
on this one?
I haven't seen this one yet. I did see the Happy Death Day 1, and I thought it was going to be some cheesy slasher flick, like Tourists or...
You are so redundant.
And redundant, too.
Cheesy slasher flick?
Right up there with military intelligence. Jumbo shrimp. So this Happy
anyway.
Death Day to
Anyway.
you was one you liked?
Sorry, Andy.
Well, I saw Happy Death Day 1, and I was surprised that I liked it so much. That it's a kind of a reworking of Groundhog Day.
Right.
in-
So you wake up every day and do the same thing over again and try
Yes.
and change the outcome.
In Groundhog Day, the main character, Bill Murray, was a nasty sort of a person.
Right.
And he got caught in this cosmic time loop, and he had to relive the same day over and over and over and over again. It just drove him nuts until he finally figured out that
Sounds like working at KMOG.
he figured out that if he became a nice person, then he could break the cycle, which eventually he did. In this one, same setup. You have to, this poor girl, college student, is murdered, and she wakes up every morning and gets murdered again. Every day she wakes up and
So she's got to solve her own murder?
then she has to solve. That was in Death Day 1. Now Death Day 2, I don't know.
Now, I see that this is rated PG-13, so this is obviously not a real gory movie or anything like that.
No, it's a
And
it's.
is it more humor than
I
than
think
suspense?
yes, and it's not. At least the first one was not notably gory, I should say. And again, this is we have 3 movies this week that have gotten into the profitability column, and Happy Death Day 2 has been out for a short time, spent $9 million on it, and their return is $55 million.
Well, that's a good ROI.
Yeah, and the first one, they made it for $5 million, and it brought in $125 million.
Now, someone there's doing the job right.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know,
Obviously, people like to see it.
that's a lot of money. And in the movie biz, the money does not stop with the theatrical release. You know, movie will be in theatrical release. Well, we've talked about it here over and over again. We had a movie recently that ran for 5 weeks here, and that's a long time.
Right.
Sometimes they only do for a week, a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. You know, if a good movie has a 3-week run, that's not bad. And then they make money on DVDs and on television. The Happy Death Day 1, the first iteration of this one, I saw on TV. I mean, that's the only reason I know about it, is it was on channel 5 million or something, and
Right.
clicked, and there it was, and I sat down and watched it. But
Well, no, we also mentioned that How to Train Your Dragon in the Hidden World. What do they spend on producing that? I think these animated movies, I'm always curious to see how much that costs.
yeah, they spent a lot of money on that.
Not bad.
Yeah, 129 million.
Whoa,
But,
I guess.
oh yeah, spectacularly successful. 384 million bucks.
Wow.
And this is the kind of a movie, and these Marvel movies too, that are so popular, and things like Guardians of the Galaxy,
Right.
big budget, colorful movies. People all over the world can see them and identify with them. And
I
enjoy
identify
them.
with the Punisher. You know that's my favorite song.
I do, I do.
Yes.
Because you mentioned that she's kind of crabby.
It's Punisher is more particularly American, I think.
It is. And the series is on Netflix as well, but I go back to Thomas Jane. He's the man. Yeah, he's the man.
All right.
Y'all are drooling over this Captain Marvel chick.
Oh, and so
Okay,
you're
so
feeling
I'm just gonna
threatened
go
then.
back to Thomas Jane, because Thomas Jane is the man.
All right, well,
Yeah.
so men, women, and everything in between, you got something playing for you at the theaters this week. Now, we have to take a quick break. Get
Really
your
gender.
Yeah, there you go. We gotta take a quick break and come back after taking a look at weather here. And now, Tina, we were gonna ask our question that we typically ask, something about movies. We're talking specifically about movies that are like bio movies, right?
Yes, biopics. And in the interest of not being totally cranky, I'm going to, I have a whole list here, and I'm going to just talk about ones that, they're somewhat true. They are, some the names have been changed.
Right.
The most famous one would be Citizen Kane. We'll talk about that.
Oh, there you go.
Biopic.
Some of the
Yeah.
names have been changed to
Yeah.
protect the innocent.
Yeah.
All right.
Or the guilty.
That too. All right, we'll be back with more on Rim Country Forum, but first, let's speak English here. First, a few words.
Find expert surgeons right here in Pace. My name's Steve Thompson. I'm a registered nurse,
Take
and I've
my
lived in
tongue
Pace
out
for
and beat
12
it against
years.
the wall a few
And worked
times.
at Standard Pace Medical
Ah,
Service.
okay,
Very
well,
operative nurse for
So we're
14
over
years.
halfway through.
I got a
Now
bunch
that our
more.
community has 3 board-certified general surgeons,
Yeah.
Dr. Susan Horn, Dr. Lloyd Olson, and Dr. Leroy Wamble,
we
providing a
hadn't thought
wide
of
range
for
of
Cashman
services,
Journal.
including
I saw that. That was
colonoscopy,
really
hernia
good.
repair, breast
My
surgery,
left foot.
cyst and lump removal, wound care,
Ray,
abdominal,
Walker
intestinal,
One,
and colorectal surgery.
Eden Bunny
For
and
more
Clyde.
information, call 928.
So Citizen Kane, who is that a biopic about?
It was William Randolph Hearst.
Oh, okay.
And there is actually a movie
Your
about
KMOG weather forecast
how William
for
Randolph
Friday,
Hearst
March
went
8th.
after
It'll be partly
Orson Welles
sunny and
and
windy around the
and
country today.
it's possible he
Forecasting
even
for
tried to
around
have it off.
26 miles an hour
Wow.
here in
Yeah,
Payson,
because Orson
up over
Welles,
40 miles
did
an hour
this
up on top
very
of the
thinly
rim,
disguised
causing a wind advisory to
portrayal,
be placed in effect there.
of
We have a 50%
Charles Foster
chance for a
Kane,
few showers
William
today.
Randolph
Not a lot of
Hearst.
precipitation
Oh, okay, I
expected.
got you.
And I mean,
Payson's
all the
daytime
characters
high
in there,
near
except for the
48,
Joseph
up
Cotton
on top of
character,
the rim, a
the
high
Marion
reaching
Davis
41,
Davies
and our neighbors
character,
to the south
where
in
she
Tidal
couldn't
Basin
sing and and
Your high
William
this
Randolph
Friday,
Hearst had
61 degrees.
had
Well, we
pushed
some
her
sunshine
into
coming
this
in this weekend, but a couple
operatic
more storms
performance
headed
that
our
was
way, too.
absolutely
We'll take a look at your
people
7-day
5
forecast
seconds.
coming up right here on your information station, KMOG.
27 now in front of 10 o'clock, 47 degrees. And this morning talking movies with the movie guys, Tina and Andy in with us. Craig couldn't be here today, but glad to have you along. And if you have a comment or question about the movies, give us a ring, 474-2427. Now we want to talk for a little bit here about what you refer to as biopics. We're talking about movies that are a bit of a biography about a particular person.
Sure, and a lot of licenses taken. We'll just accept that. I'll stop, try not to be cranky about it. However, let me circle back to one of Andy's and my favorites, in which license really wasn't taken. It was just enhancement, and that's They Shall Not Grow Old. That's really a biopic
I
that
really
was
wanted to see that.
as true to the original material to make it accessible to those of us here in our time. It was extraordinary.
And for people that aren't familiar, this was actually real footage that was shot back in World War I of
Right.
the guys on the front lines there. And they took these, they colorized them, they even had some people that were very good with lip reading figure out what people were saying, and then they added that audio into it to really bring it to life.
It was like being, it was probably the closest possibility one would have to be transported back to that time
Wow.
to be watching these guys in World War I. I mean, the real guys.
So, now, did you both see this at the same time?
Yes.
How did it affect you, Andy? I mean,
Well-
you laughed, you cried, you saw God, right?
Yeah. No, there were some things in there that were pretty touching.
Really?
Pretty grim things.
So did they do this in kind of a documentary format then? Rather than a movie format, or what would you call it? I'm anxious to see it, and I'm going to use Tunnel Creek as my excuse that I didn't see it. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, yeah, that Tanos Creek is always there, isn't it? Whether it's too rough to pass or not, it's always there.
So is,
There.
so is Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, there's one part, after the actual movie was shown, Peter Jackson is a great movie genius. He's the guy who kind of created a film industry in New Zealand. He's a New Zealander, and he made the Lord of the Rings movies.
Right.
Just
Visually stunning.
wonderful movies in every respect. And he was responsible for They Shall Not Grow Old. And after the regular movie was over, he had a little 20-minute kind of short that he talked about how they made the movie. And he went, actually, he personally went to a spot in Belgium where that was featured in the movie. And in the movie, there were this one scene. There were a group of soldiers getting ready to go up for the attack, and he found the exact same place and went there personally and talked about, being in this place and one of the things that he mentioned, and he's talking, and they're skipping back between the modern day 21st century, and it's a sunken lane. It's a road with a kind of a hump on each side of it, and the soldiers are on the road safe. And so he's talking, and then they show the picture of the actual soldiers, and a few minutes after the film was made, the soldiers went up over the hump and into danger. And Peter Jackson said, "You're probably watching these men in the last 30 minutes of their lives."
Right.
Wow.
And
That's where the reality really kicks
I
in.
mean, they were
that
just
was-
slaughtered.
That was
Yeah.
really,
Wow.
that was like a kick in the head right there. That was
Wow.
really something. That's the thing that impacted me the most.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, when we talk about, and I'm anxious to see that one, but when we talk biopics, what are some of the other biggies that come to mind as far as a biographical sketch done in film.
Well, we mentioned Citizen Kane, which
Right.
of course is, one of my top 10, maybe the top of my top 10, depending on the day.
And of course, this was actually, about, I think you said William Randolph Hearst, right?
Yes, William Randolph Hearst, the newspaper mogul who was, a tyrant.
But the name in the movie was,
Charles Foster Kane.
ah,
Orson Welles, in his 20s, I think he was 26 when he made this, a wunderkind, child prodigy. He portrayed, he directed, he produced, and he made this movie. And apparently William Randolph Hearst was so incensed that it is rumored that he talked about having, yes, he was barking. He talked about having, yes, he was really barking. He talked about having Orson Welles, well, he tried to quash the movie and, possibly even have Orson Welles disappeared.
oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was very parallel to real life circumstances.
And that was Citizen Kane, what was that, like the 30s or 40s?
It was the
20s maybe.
20s?
Wow.
No, it wasn't 20s.
I know it goes back a long
Oh,
way.
no, I mean, the,
Oh, wait, 1941, sorry,
Well,
yeah. It was made
that's
in
that's when the
1941.
movie was made.
Yes,
But
but the
the time frame was
Right.
earlier.
Was, yes, indeed,
Wow.
yeah.
Very
And it's an amazing, if you haven't seen it, and if you haven't seen it on the big screen, it's just extraordinary. I've probably seen that movie 30 times.
Wow.
Yeah, there's, there's one scene, isn't it that the long sequence right at the beginning when they take the camera into the house?
Yes.
And this is something,
Oh.
she talks about the genius of this guy that made it. And nothing like this had been made before in a,
Right.
kind of a cinematographic sense. There's one scene where the camera doesn't turn off for, like 5 minutes or something.
And that's a long shot.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And
And it's a
it
moving,
works.
and it's a movie, it's not a static shot.
No, it's not, yep.
a moving
Yep,
shot.
yep.
So he was just amazing. Yeah, and
Yeah.
poor Orson Welles, this was really almost the pinnacle of his creations. He made a lot of other really good movies. Touch of Evil, that's a great movie. Even Chimes at Midnight, nobody's seen that but me, I'm sure. It's the Falstaff character from Shakespeare made into a compendium movie with Falstaff as the central character.
And here I always thought Falstaff was just a beer.
No, he's a
But that's-
Shakespearean character, yeah, but Orson Welles was a tortured genius.
Drank a lot of beer. I mean, the
Yeah,
Falstaff,
yeah.
the Shakespearean Falstaff.
Ah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and the Orson Wellesian Falstaff. He's a bad guy.
All right, so now what are some of the biopics that, because I'm drawing a blank when I'm thinking of,
Patton.
oh, there you go, that was a good
Yeah,
one. That
George
was a good
C.
one.
Scott, amazing.
That was a good one.
Yep,
Um,
and then of course Bohemian Rhapsody, which just won a lot of,
Right.
Best Actor and
I'm gonna-
didn't win
I'm
Best
gonna-
Picture, but very, very, very good movie.
I did enjoy watching that, and
Yeah.
it's, I also enjoyed watching you get grumpy over the fact that the band says they never really broke up and stuff, and so that's been Hollywoodized a bit, but.
I'm
but,
trying to
was it-
de-grump myself.
I have to say, I was never really a big Lady Gaga fan. I knew that she had a voice, but after watching that movie,
Wait, you're in the wrong movie. Stars Born,
Stars Born, I'm sorry.
Kentucky Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah, it's Freddie Mercury.
that's right.
That's Freddie.
But I saw both of those,
Yes,
that's
you
why
did,
I'm all
yes.
confused, all in one week. I
They're
actually
both
saw two
music.
movies.
They're both music.
All in 1 year.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it was
goodness.
yeah, really, and it was this year, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But Lady Gaga though in Stars
Oh.
Born,
Awesome.
I mean, I just saw you really saw some pretty remarkable performance, and then at the Academy Awards when they got up and did the live stage performance, that was really well done.
Stellar.
Because I mean, that's not like they weren't out there lip syncing or anything.
No,
That was the
they
real
were
deal.
really, really good.
Of course, we'll find out next week that they were lip syncing. You'll have more reason to be.
And it wasn't even them.
That's
wasn't
right.
even that.
They were mannequins, little puppets. Yeah.
There was
Um,
And
doppelgangers.
I just realized here a couple of days ago that, what's his name, Malik?
Yeah, Remy.
Yeah, Remy Malik. He was the star of one of my favorite TV shows, I, Robot.
Oh, yes.
And I didn't realize it was the same guy.
Yeah, and he was, for him to, if you look at side by side, there was something on Netflix or YouTube or something, where there was a side by side shot of Rami Malek playing the Live Aid concert and Freddie Mercury. And it was eerie. I mean, they even arranged the Coke and the beer.
So they really
on
studied the
piano.
original footage and,
Totally.
very cool.
It was amazing. So,
So what?
however, other ones, I mean, really, go back to Yankee Doodle Dandy with James Cagney, Charles
and who was
M.
that?
Cohen.
That was the story of Charles M. Cohen.
Yep, and Bonnie and Clyde.
And that was the story
Yeah,
of Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
It's a really catchy title.
With Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they get shot.
Oh,
Yeah.
they get riddled.
Yeah, it's a real, have a bang-up time.
And then Walk the Line, Johnny Cash.
That was a great movie.
Beautiful.
That really was.
Absolutely.
And you get a chance to, I mean, really
Yeah.
see a lot about the, his problems with addiction and everything. So that really truly was a great movie.
Yeah.
That's another movie I've
Yeah.
actually seen.
Yay.
You can talk about it with aplomb.
Yeah, there you go.
And one of the things that I really took away from I Walk the Line is in the early days, when he was traveling around, and doing gigs in every place that he could get somebody to pay him. Who were his traveling companions? Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hanging out with some pretty interesting crowds.
Yeah.
Dude.
You know, I just to show you how strange my mind is, when you were talking, we talked before the show today, let's talk about biopics, and I don't know, there's something Freudian about this, because it wasn't even a true story, but the only thing that came to my mind was Forrest Gump. That's just
Well, that's a biopic of a lot of people.
Well, true, because life is like a box of chocolates. There's, you're talking, when you talk biopic, you're talking about a biography of a particular person. There's a couple of
Or a
movies.
particular event.
Yeah, and there's the things like Hamburger Hill,
Yes.
and some of the Vietnam War movies. There's another one that's right about the same time that the name escapes me.
Apocalypse
Oh,
Now.
yes, yeah. Love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Oh, man, what a movie that is.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I mean, and I think the thing with Hamburger Hill is you really got a sense of just, how horrific that whole situation was, where, they take ground up to a certain parallel and then are told to back off the next day, and I mean, I wouldn't probably be a very good soldier in those kind of situations. I don't
Well,
think
and
I'd do well.
in keeping with my ability to have conflicting ideas and live with them and not be grumpy, one of the biopic. Oh, stop. One of the biopics.
So now we're
that
talking
is-
fiction, right?
Yeah, we are, because my all-time favorite movie, Chinatown, actually is about true events about the water situation in LA. Yes. Which, there was all kinds of shenanigans about bringing water to the valley, the San Fernando Valley. And if you watch that movie, there's really a lot of truth in that fictionalized story of that event.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So if you were going to pick your favorite bio flick of all time, Andy,
The King's Speech. How about it? Yeah.
Well, that would be good. I was going to say The Conqueror, but The King's Speech might be
Lawrence of Arabia?
might be a better one. The Conqueror was a biographical interpretation of the life of Genghis Khan, with John Wayne in the title role.
John Wayne playing Genghis Khan. I love
Yeah,
it.
so that was that's one of my favorites
Bill
because
Pilgrim.
yeah.
Yeah, really.
I think we're gonna invade China.
That's right. I think when it comes to those kind of movies, and I've brought this one up many times, and I realize that loosely based on historical fact from what we understand, but
Yeah.
still Braveheart is way up there on my
Oh.
list of all-time favorites.
How could I forget?
And that to me, that was a great movie. Whether or not
Right.
he actually, yelled out freedom as they were pulling his entrails out, I don't know. But I mean,
I bet he did.
he probably
would.
yelled something. Might not be worthy of being on the radio, but anyway, we have to take a fast break. We're going to come back. So we're asking you, when it comes down to a movie that was a biography or based on a biography of a person or an event, is there one in particular that's your favorite? Give us a call. Let us know. 474-2427, the number.
Tired of hauling trash? Companies are getting you or
I was
leaving
thinking of Platoon that came out the same time.
Platoon, that was the other one. That was the other one.
I didn't want to burst in there.
No, but that's exactly the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
Just
Those were
Put that up, we got a caller.
You know, another one,
We haven't lost a caller in,
we haven't had a call. But we could lose one yet. We still got 2 commercials. I'll let them know. I'll be with you in just a moment.
Our specialty. Call Jennifer today.
Can't tell if that's L or not. It'd be unusual if you did not hear from
Well, I
her.
got Ray.
Road trash
Um,
cleaning, keeping it
Charles,
beautiful.
Ray Charles.
Yeah, Ray Charles, that was a good one.
Sweets by Kim
Um,
Ross is a
you know, another
great
one that
inviting
is
setting in which
based
to hold
on a, well,
client
I'll just wait
meetings,
until we're on the air, that way
training,
I get the shock and awe of
Yeah,
going on
yeah,
with that.
birthday
There's one other one that
anniversary dinners,
affected me
bridal
deeply because
showers,
I've been
and
over in
much
that
more.
part of the world,
They
and
have
when I
a
saw
fully
it,
equipped
it was
meeting
one of those that I
room
was just
available
really
that can
uncomfortable
accommodate
watching
from
the whole
2
movie,
to 50
but I
people.
found it
Yes,
riveting.
they're killing
Perfect
things.
for use as a
but
classroom
that's-
or
that's another one
seminar
like
room,
that.
meeting space
No,
for
I'm thinking more along the lines of
organizations
Blood
and
Diamond.
ongoing group meetings.
I mean, it's based on, you know, loosely on
Comfortable environment
the
to
problems
make you
going on
feel
in that part of
right at home.
Africa.
Learn more
Blood
online
Diamond.
Oh, yeah.
by visiting
Um,
sweetsbykimross.com
That's,
or call
and I
today
mean,
at
when they're all in the camp
284-68-5461.
looking through the gates and stuff, I mean, I've just been to those kind of places, and that
Are
really
you
just
experiencing
kind of
slow
freaked me out a
drains?
bit.
Call Little Stinker now before it
But I'm
becomes
gonna
a
mention
real
Killing Fields
stinking
because that one
problem.
has
Did you
gone
know they
away.
take care of
You
all
don't see it
drains and
around,
not just
but
septic
that-
systems?
I saw
Their
that about 5
certified
times when it was
wastewater
came out.
technicians can do repairs on
Yeah, that
alternative
sounds good.
systems
Cool.
as well as
Well, we'll take this
conventional.
call and then we'll figure out where we go next.
Now, say you heard it on KMOG for 10% off your entire bill. They just want to clean your drains, not your wallets. Little Stinker Septic Service, 476-4437.
Welcome back to Rim Country Forum, 11 minutes in front of 10 o'clock, 48 degrees. We have a caller on the line. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning.
Well, it is a trio this morning. Yeah.
Hola.
Hola. I'm Tina the Terrible. Yeah. And that's a biopic. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
The popcorn bucket list.
It's a
I like
heavy
that.
popcorn movie, yeah. Even I ate popcorn during that.
Saw it with her, so I always have a really place in my mind thinking about this one. Gandhi.
Ooh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
right on. Forgot to mention that.
Ah, yeah. Woof. Yay! All right, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. Hey, you know,
and Elle, in Cold Pursuit, one of the things that makes Cold Pursuit a little happier, a little funnier, is every time somebody gets greased, they put his name up and his nickname.
Oh, yeah, that is really funny. It's kind of this snarky little thing. that they
Yeah,
do.
you know, and
And then they have a symbol, like if it's a cross, or if it's a Star of David,
Uh-huh.
or I don't know, so some of the other symbols. It's really funny.
yeah.
interesting.
And then at the climactic scene, there's this huge shootout.
Like a-
Yeah, about
yeah.
20 guys get killed or something.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
And then, yeah.
Did we
And
mention that Tina's a little grumpy?
I'm not. That
Oh.
makes me cheerful.
it's a big shootout between a bunch of bad guys and a bunch of other bad guys. So, you know, whoever gets greased, you know, it's cool.
The bad guys lose.
Yeah, the bad guys
Yeah.
lose, and then there's this whole section.
The wall.
You know, and all of these guys, they all have funny, you know, gangster names. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's what we need, Andy. We need gangster names.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I think Tina Ballerina. That's a
Oh,
good
please.
gangster name for you.
That's not a movie guy.
Well, I tell you, going back to the idea of biopics or things that are at least loosely based on either a biography of a person or an event, two of them, and I was just talking during the break there, one that comes to mind because I've been in that part of Africa, Blood Diamond really affected me.
Yeah.
That, I mean, again, it's not necessarily a true story, but it's based on
It's
true happenings.
true events,
Yeah.
right.
And that one, another one that many people may not have seen, but I highly recommend it. A movie called City of Joy.
Oh, I have seen that.
City of
Yeah.
Joy, based on in Calcutta, India.
Yes.
And that was the very first place that I went when I first left the United States to start doing humanitarian aid work. I was in Calcutta working on the streets there with some of the 3 million Dalits, or the poorest of the poor. And one of the things that is revealed in that movie that I witnessed myself is that there are people living in the most just horrible poverty, and because of the caste system there, they're shunned by everybody else. I mean, it's just a heartbreaking thing. Yet you find people there that are not just happy, they're truly joy-filled, simply because, hey, I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
You know, I got another day, and they're just joy-filled about that. I mean, and we take so much for granted here that, you know, if we don't get a new Cadillac today, we're going to, you know, go home and, you know, sulk for a while or something. And I think there's just a lot to learn from those kind of people. So those are two movies. Highly recommend City of Joy. Blood Diamond, kind of an uncomfortable movie to watch, but I love it.
Randy, if you enjoyed Blood Diamond, there's another kind of similar theme movie, but a good deal grimmer, called Beasts of No Nation.
Yes.
Beasts of No
Beasts
Nation.
of No Nation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Really good. Oh, ooh.
the-
Hard to watch.
Yeah, Idris Elba is the lead of the great actor
Yeah.
from
He's-
London.
Yes.
But much much more somber than
Yeah.
the lighthearted Blood Diamond.
Right. Oh, yeah, lighthearted, right?
Lighthearted,
Hey, we have
yes.
another caller on the line. Let's take another call here. Coming up on 5 minutes in front of 10 o'clock. Hi, you're on Rim Country Forum. Good morning. Oh, yeah.
What's wrong with us?
And I mean, he what, the most decorated war
Yeah,
hero of the Second
yeah.
World War?
Thank you for bringing that
And
up.
I think
was wonderful.
when he applied or you know enlisted, I think he weighed like 120 pounds or
Yeah.
something like that.
He was
Not a big guy, but
small guy.
he's certainly accomplished a lot.
Yes, thank you for
That's a
that.
great one. Thank you.
Yeah, and Stan, I think that was a true story about the sled dog race, right? Wasn't that, what was that story that you filmed up in Minnesota? I don't know.
TMI, right?
Obviously a memorable event. Interesting. But I think you said that Audie
No,
Murphy.
that's really good.
You know,
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one, Audie Murphy.
And that's a name that you know is we don't hear a lot about anymore. I think more folks my parents' age, he was big news back then. But
And my age.
and yeah, you're just being grumpy. But I mean, Audie Murphy did have an amazing
He
story.
did, and during the 50s, he was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really, I want to bring up another one. We talked in the break about this. You don't see this one around very much, but if you can see it actually in view of today's kind of political climate where there's a lot of hysteria and finger pointing and
Ooh, Manchurian Candidate.
character, yeah, well, that too. No, The Killing Fields.
Oh,
Was about
yeah.
Cambodia and Pol Pot.
Yeah.
People really need to see this because it was definitely a true story, and the gentleman who starred in it was a doctor who lived through the horror of Pol Pot and Cambodia. You got to see this. I mean, I saw it about 5 times when it first came out.
And this movie teaches us that you never want to turn your country over to French intellectuals.
Or even American university intellectuals.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
not a lot of difference there.
Yeah, really, exactly.
The
I know.
Khmer Rouge, the Communist Party of Cambodia that was
Yes.
responsible for murdering a third of the population of a whole country.
Yes.
Statistically, in that respect, the most horrific slaughter in history that I know of.
Yeah,
Certainly-
per capita, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the highest per capita slaughter. But these guys were all university students in Paris.
Yep.
And they got together in the 20s and the 30s and formed the Communist Party. And then when they got control of Cambodia, they put their political ideas into effect with unparalleled rigor. One of the things that they did was, if you had a pair of glasses,
Yes,
they would shoot you.
yes, because you didn't deserve to live because you were an effete intellectual.
And, yeah,
So
you
that would
could-
be all four of us in the studio.
Yeah, you could, if you had glasses, that indicated that you knew how to read.
Yes.
If you knew how to read, you were undoubtedly contaminated with evil thoughts, so they shot you if you had glasses.
Correct,
Hmm.
yeah. And if you think it can't happen anywhere,
Oh, man.
go watch that movie and just look at some parallels of some of the things that are happening, I'm afraid, right now.
Well,
Here.
you know, and if you get around to other countries, boy, you start to come back here realizing we have a very amazing place where we live, and we take way too much for granted.
We do.
We're very blessed to be
And
here.
then, there was Viva Zapata,
Yeah, Viva Zapata.
a
Yeah,
great biopic of Zapata.
and Raging Bull, a great biopic of Jake LaMotta,
There you are.
and we're rhyming. Zapata LaMotta.
Still trying to figure out how to work Forrest Gump into this, but I haven't done it yet.
It's really, well, I'll be Forrest Gump.
Okay. Run, Forrest, run.
Run.
So I did.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, very interesting. We want to, again, get you over to the Sawmill Theaters. Again, Captain Marvel playing, Stan and Ollie, Escape Room, Cold Pursuit, Happy Death Day to You, and How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. And to find out what's playing and when it's playing, just go online to sawmilltheaters.com, or you can call 602-377-0719. Again, that's 602-377-0719. Thanks to the movie guys for being with us today, and thank you for being here, listening to Rim Country Forum. It's been brought to you by the fine folks at Banner Payson Medical Center, Little Stinker Septic Service, George Henry Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, Off-Road Trash Company, Sweets by Kim Ross, and ITD Group Computer Services. You're listening to Rim Country Radio, KMOG Payson. It's 10 o'clock, 48 degrees, time for top of the hour news, your 7-day forecast. Jason Sid next with the Diner.